America's biggest fast food brands are vanishing, and fast. From Taco Bell to McDonald's, hundreds of locations are shutting down quietly. But these closures aren't random. They are a warning sign of something much bigger. Taco Bell is facing an unexpected slowdown. Once the king of late-night cravings, the chain is now shrinking thanks to soaring food costs, staff shortages, and fierce rivals stealing its customer base. In 2024, multiple locations scattered across the Midwest and California quietly shut their doors, leaving several communities without a single Taco Bell. In smaller towns, chains that were considered staples for late-night runs have vanished overnight. It's not going away completely, but shrinking footprints mean that next time you crave a Crunchwrap Supreme, you might have to travel further to find one. But that's not it. Wait for the next closure to surprise you. Wendy's is fighting a tough battle to stay relevant. Underperforming stores in the South and Midwest were shuttered in 2023 and 2024, and plans for surge pricing, charging more during peak hours, angered regulars trying to keep their favorite burger spot afloat. Rising rent and aggressive competition from faster, flashier rivals forced owners to pull out entirely in some states. As a result, neighborhoods that once had 2 or 3 Wendy's now have none at all. But trust us, this is just the beginning of a much bigger collapse. In small-town America, Dairy Queen was more than dessert. It was tradition. And now, another closed-for-good sign where the soft serve once swirled. Rising rents, labor shortages, and new equipment costs have pushed franchisees to the limit. In many smaller towns, the DQ was more than a treat. It was a gathering place for families. With these closures, those neighborhoods are now losing one of their most cherished touchstones alongside the blizzards and soft-serve cones. And for some, it's not just ice cream that's melting, it's the memory of summer nights that is fading away. But this isn't even the worst part. Wait until you hear about the fried chicken empire shrinking before your eyes. The Golden Arches might dominate burgers, but the bucket of fried chicken isn't immune from hardship. Over 1,000 KFC stores have vanished across the U.S. in the last decade, and dozens more disappeared in 2024 alone. Uncertain supply chains and shifting consumer tastes have all pushed the brand to re-evaluate its presence. With corporate attention shifting to booming international markets, the familiar red buckets might soon be missing from local strip malls entirely, leaving fans scrambling for a hidden gem that is still open. And after the boycott, people still think twice if it's really just a gem or chaos. But believe it or not, things only get bleaker when you realize who's behind this next wave of closings. Burger King's flame has dimmed. 400 Burger Kings gone. Closed, boarded up, forgotten. The flame's still on the logo, but not in the kitchen. It's meant to modernize the brand, but that means closing stores that don't generate profit, replacing them with sleek new locations that rely on apps and automated ordering. For some loyal fans, it's a bittersweet goodbye. Their go-to Whopper spot is now empty and echoing, a relic of a once booming customer loyalty. But this isn't stranger danger. Just wait for the next company and you'll see rapid closures that make Burger King's story look tame. Once a staple in suburban America, Jack in the Box is fading fast. In 2024, it closed every location in several urban areas, citing inflation and unpredictable revenue. Its CEO admitted that even in vibrant markets, stores were struggling to break even. The Jack on Track plan aims to streamline operations, shut weak stores, and focus on tech-friendly spots. But processes like this always means shrinking footprints first. The consequence is clear. The brand you knew is slowly disappearing one failed franchise at a time. But that's not the only longtime favorite losing ground. The next one might surprise you. Subway once owned the sandwich game, but signs of its downfall are impossible to miss. The once ubiquitous green and white storefront is vanishing. Over 3,000 closed in just a few years, leaving loyal sandwich lovers scrambling. New openings emphasize modern aesthetics, but closures show a brand struggling to keep customers who now demand quality, speed, and Instagram-worthy meals, things that Subway often fails to deliver. Its neighborhood spot might still be selling $5 footlongs, but the end of an era feels closer than ever. And if you think it ends with sandwiches, wait until you hear what's happening to your morning coffee stop. Even your go-to run for a latte isn't safe. Starbucks has shuttered hundreds of stores across the US as consumer habits shift and the mobile app model overtakes offline visits. Fewer office workers and tighter budgets mean that store closures are becoming routine rather than rare. The next time you swing by for your morning pump-up deal, that familiar green logo you spot down the street, it might not be there tomorrow. But Starbucks isn't alone. Another coffee giant is feeling the heat too. America ran on Dunkin', once in nearly every corner of the country, but not anymore. Hundreds of its once familiar storefronts are closing, especially outside the East Coast. Reduced foot traffic, rising rent, and competitive pressure from new coffee concepts have squeezed Dunkin's footprint back into its strongholds. Your next morning coffee might require a longer drive, and that's the real cost of this unraveling. But still, the biggest shock comes next. Even the golden arches aren't immune to the cutbacks. Even the biggest name in fast food is shrinking. McDonald's has shuttered hundreds of locations and spun off unprofitable segments like its CosMc's concept. New innovations focus on smaller, tech-backed drive-through formats, meaning traditional dine-in spaces are being closed. Fewer employees, fewer tables, and more kiosks define this new reality. The golden arches might still be golden, but they're getting leaner, and some communities will struggle to find them. McDonald's shrinking isn't just business, it's cultural. And it's not just fast food. Classic sit-down diners are taking a hit as well. A once familiar family-style icon, Denny's, is feeling the squeeze too. Plans are in motion to close over 150 locations by the end of 2025 as sales continue to spiral downwards. Rising costs, outdated restaurants, and a post-pandemic drop in family dining have hit hard. Even new deals and promotions haven't stopped the slide, and shareholders are starting to question if the brand can bounce back. This isn't just a slow decline, it's a turning point for the classic roadside diners. Denny's closing means the end of the all-night diner era. But the next closure wave hits even harder, and this one's about your favorite Friday night hangout. Once a mainstay for casual nights out, TGI Fridays now fights for survival. The chain filed for bankruptcy after years of debt, declining foot traffic, and soaring interest rates. Dozens of locations have closed across the U.S., leaving real estate vacant and loyal guests empty-handed. Some storefronts are being sold to franchisees, while others just simply vanish from city streets. For many, this signals the fading of a beloved brand that defined American nightlife for decades, replaced now by smaller, faster concepts. And if you thought casual dining was safe, well, think again. Even seafood chains are sinking. Even seafood isn't immune. Rubio's Coastal Grill lost its home turf when dozens of underperforming restaurants across California shut down. Plagued by bankruptcy, it has scaled back drastically, retreating from entire cities and even college campuses. What was once a go-to for fish tacos and healthy options is now struggling to stay alive, with fewer locations than it's had in half of a decade. But hold on, because older restaurant brands are quietly slipping away from our hands too. Never a fast casual giant, Buca di Beppo now teeters on the edge. Frequent bankruptcies have left dozens of restaurants closed nationwide as buyers scramble to salvage parts of the brand. The once popular celebration spot now feels like a memory of better business days, replaced by smaller, more nimble chains that move faster and cost less to run. Now, the latest brand to hit bankruptcy might shock some longtime fans, as it's one that once dominated headlines. Hooters is now the newest name on the bankruptcy list. After years of declining sales, debt, and changing cultural attitudes, its owner filed for Chapter 11 and began negotiating the sale of company-owned locations. Many of the brand's 400-plus outlets could soon change hands or close entirely. The brand's image, once its strength, is now being blamed for alienating younger customers who want more than just nostalgia and wings. And finally, here comes the most shocking one. Applebee's is struggling badly. Roughly 60 of its restaurants have closed since 2023, citing sluggish sales and fiercer competition. Buffalo Wild Wings has also shuttered dozens of locations over the past year as psychedelic sports bar traffic declines and delivery sales struggle to keep up. So which one do you think should stay the same? Stay tuned, the next recall might hit closer to home than you think.